F you.
All
right. So what are we doing next? We're doing
Week 7.
Week 7, and then then we're gonna pick. Okay, quickly pick. Shoot, man, this is gonna be. I'm sorry for the length of the podcast. It's gonna be an hour and a half long, but it's fine. You'll get over it. All right. So nuts versus pups. You already know what we're about to do.
Give me the pups.
Jared picks the pups.
You got it, Christian.
Any reasoning behind that?
I like our matchups.
All of our matchups. I think it's Fournette week. I think it's Cup bounce back week, and that's the only reason. Otherwise, it would be Johnny by a landslide.
No McCaffrey, no problem.
Just only because of these matchups.
Cortland Sutton playing against Kansas City. I like that for a shootout. Well, maybe not a shootout, but Denver's going to have to throw.
I
like Mark Andrews' matchup against Seattle. Kenny Galladay is just a solid guy. He's going to give you 10 points probably. And then Cooper Kupp, I think he's going to pop off against Atlanta. Fournette's going to pop off against Cincinnati. He's getting us at least 20 points this week. Josh Jacobs is going to outscore his projection, I think. So, yeah.
I've got nuts over cups.
Okay.
You guys have good matchups except for Watson. I think Indianapolis, they shut down Patrick Mahomes pretty good.
Yeah, they did. Dylan.
You guys have good matchups, but, I mean, Johnny's team is just really strong. He's not having to sit anybody, I don't think, and his matchups aren't terrible.
Yeah, the only guy he's got sitting right now is Devontae Adams, which could change. He might play him.
I think he's going to play this week.
Okay, so, Christian, you're going John?
Yeah, I got to take Johnny. Sorry, guys.
It's okay.
Devontae Adams has surprisingly only had one good week.
Yeah, Devontae Adams was off to a slow start.
He hasn't caught a single touchdown. The touchdown machine that is Devontae Adams has not caught a touchdown, so that definitely could change this week.
Stuff. Yeah, if Christian has a touchdown explosion this week from Julio and Devontae Adams, just scoop it up. It could be one of those things where I text Jared at 4 o'clock this week. And we're just.
I hope that I do have a touchdown.
I meant Johnny. Sorry. I'm clearly asleep today.
You taking us?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Damn right.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Of course.
Burns versus Black Labs. This is a good matchup here. I just put the Black Labs above Burns in the power.
This is easy for me. Burns, Labs, Kamara plays against Chicago. GG.
On a bum knee and a bum ankle.
No, zero chance. This is Burns easy for me.
I've got Lil Blazers taking it. They both have good matchups. Kamara's hurt. Sony's playing a little bit better, but his best days are coming in mid-November, early December. Blazers are going to regress just because, I mean, look at that team, but not this week.
Yeah, Tevin Coleman plays against Washington, so I'm sure he's going to run all over them.
What you got?
I'll take the Blazers this week.
I just can't get over how, that is an ugly, ugly team on paper. But fortunately for Tyler Burns, we play this game on phones and computers. So you don't ever have to look at that piece of shit team on a piece of paper.
Matt Ryan's been popping off the past 2 weeks.
He's going to keep popping off, dude.
Yeah, the Rams
all he does is throw over 300 yards. He loses football games left and right because their defense can't stop it.
All he's done. He's done 300 every week.
Yep. I looked at it earlier. I'm probably going to start him again this week. Big Mike versus Chris is up next. We all took Burns in the last one. So, yeah. Big Mike versus Chris.
Yeah, I'm going to take Chris, too.
Those running backs are just too good.
Yeah, and
Chris Carson week. It could be Marlon Mack week because Houston pulled out that slow game versus Kansas City, and I think they're about to pull out another slow
Chris's
game.
wide receiver depth is really going to put in some work here because he's got OBJ and Juju on the bench, and he's still able to field two pretty decent
Lockett
receivers.
and Fuller.
You never know when Fuller's going to pop off.
Yeah, he's got two pretty boom or bust receivers going right now, but I think even
I
if
like
they both bust.
Then again, and I don't think Lockett and Tyler Boyd are in the same caliber. I think Lockett is a little better, but Tyler Boyd
more
got
consistent. But
what's the corner from Baltimore? I can't remember. Knife Michael.
Marlon Humphrey.
Yeah, that. He shut Boyd down last week. So there's a chance Lockett could get bottled up this week. I think Seattle wins on the back of Russell Wilson and
crazy,
Chris Carson. So
get him another 30 points.
Oh, true. Yeah, he's got Russell. So Yeah, this is Chris easy for me. Chris easy for you guys.
Yeah,
Chris.
Panthers just they don't have the running backs. It's just Kittle and Cooks, and that's all he's got.
Miles versus the Pirates. I'll take the Miles all day.
I'm gonna take Miles too.
Let me take a peek here.
It's
just to make
right,
sure.
So you got Le'Veon Bell up against Jordan Howard.
Ingram could have a day.
You got Mark Ingram against Derrick Henry, which is close. Keenan Allen against Mari Cooper, who might
I could see that Chargers game being a stinker, boy.
The Chargers play down to whatever team that they're playing, and then sometimes they play down so bad that they just get the shit kicked out of them at home.
Well, it wasn't really a home game for them anyway. But that's, man, I'm gonna do something I don't really believe in. I'm gonna take the Pirates.
Oof.
Just because I think, I believe in P. Riv. Never mind. Fuck that shit. I'm going Miles.
P-Riv sucks this year. He's done.
I'm going
If there's
Miles.
one person on that team not to believe in right now, it'd probably be him. But
They'll bounce back.
look at Vogler's team, and it's just
Everybody went Miles.
It's not close.
I also need to have some contrarian picks just to bounce back into this bad boy.
Yeah, but I mean I don't even really understand how the projection is so close. I don't think Cooper's gonna play. Is there a note for him saying whether or not he's practicing or anything? Because I haven't seen anything, and they're only projecting.
Cooper didn't practice Wednesday, ankle and quad. Yikes.
Yeah, I don't see him playing, and that's like the most explosive person on his team.
Dylan's got no Godwin, no DJ Moore this week.
Oh yeah,
that's not
the
even
Brother
close.
Bowl.
The Brother Bowl is a shit bowl
Yeah,
this week.
is going to be a toilet bowl.
But give me the
for
Gators.
Dylan.
Gators versus.
Saquon
Dylan.
might outscore that team by himself.
Yeah.
I don't think Dylan's running backs put up a combined 3 points.
Nah,
I think that might be generous. I'm not sure who they are.
Saquon's going to have 3 points in the first 2 snaps.
Yeah, Saquon's going to have 3 points in the first carry.
Next year he's going to be starting DeAndre Swift. And
yeah, he'll have some running backs.
Yeah, he's going to have some running backs next year.
Somebody
That's for
else.
sure.
I'm pretty sure it's like Ito Smith and somebody else right now.
it's
and-
Ito Smith and Tavon Austin. What the hell?
oh, man.
He's
I don't
listed
know.
as a running back.
Tavon Austin might get a couple points.
Oh, man. Dylan, that's collusion. You're trying to let Michael win this week by starting Tavon Austin. There's no way. No, I'm just kidding. Tater versus the Classics. Ooh, this is a good one.
Okay. I have decent notes for this one. It's Cubs without Chubb and Connor, and Kansas City's playing Denver, who have had 2 pretty strong defensive performances in a row. I'm not saying they're 2015 Denver. or
Zeke
anything,
versus
but
Philadelphia.
Zeke has a tough matchup against Philadelphia, but Zeke kind of owns the Eagles at the same time.
Starting AJ Green and Tyler Boyd is gross.
It's not ideal.
Considering that offense.
I'm really
man.
banking on AJ Green being a Patriot tomorrow.
Holy shit. That's gross.
If they're AJ Green playing Jacksonville.
Christian, your team sucks.
Yeah, right. Look at that.
Dude,
squad.
your team fucking sucks,
You
dude.
put too much into Gurley, man.
What did I trade for Gurley?
I don't too much.
I'm pretty sure
Whatever it was too much.
I traded a couple first. Phillip Lindsay.
Mike
and-
Evans is sitting this league. That's gross.
Yeah. You take that team and you play everybody healthy. You've got Brady or Rodgers. Pick your poison there. Rodgers isn't really hitting on much this year.
this year.
Brady's been solid all year long. Brady has one game that he didn't score over 20 points. And if you look at that schedule, it doesn't really get any harder.
That's what I'm
And
told.
What you guys keep failing to take into account is I have
the
running
best
back
defense in
I
the
have
fucking
running
league.
back 1 Patriots defense.
God, that's insane.
I mean, I'm pretty sure.
Who do they play against? The Jets this week?
Oh yeah, Monday Night Football.
They're gonna be
versus the Jets.
fine. They're gonna be
And
fine.
if I chose not to go with that, I've got San Francisco, the number 2 defense.
I do
Against
think that
Washington.
the Jets aren't bad. But yeah, I mean, they're still going to put up 10 points against them.
I'll trade you the Carolina Panthers defense for San Francisco's
Oh,
defense.
boy.
No,
shit, but-
absolutely not.
You're crazy. Look, you guys were talking about how they were going to get washed by the Rams last week, and they still put up 10.
No, that was
They got
Jared.
the
That was Jared
Redskins this
Goff
week.
I
I
like the Panthers D. I mean, yeah, the San Francisco's defense is been pretty good, but
This is tough for me.
The
thing for me is T-Ray doesn't have a second receiver, so I'm gonna have to go Christian here.
Taylor Ray has,
and he doesn't have Chubb, so
he has 4.
I'm going
studs
classics. Going
and
classics.
Not much else.
I'm going classics.
yeah, give me the classics this week.
You don't get to say you hate my team and then pick them. You got to pick Taylor Ray now.
Nah,
I hate T-Ray's having
Pick my team just off the fact that he's
That's what we
without
don't.
Chubb and Connor.
Yeah,
his
if he had
Chiefs-
Chubb and Connor, I'd pick T-Ray's team.
Yeah, it'd be tough for me without Mike Evans. And assuming
Royce
this is
Freeman stinks.
Yeah, Royce Freeman's a pile of garbage. I would tell his mother
Plod.
that to her face.
Blood fool. All right. So can we do? We are balls deep in this now.
How long are we?
Hold on.
Gurley gets Atlanta this week also, so if he comes back and is healthy and plays, it's going to be the first Gurley game of the season, followed up by the second Gurley game of the season next week against my hometown Cincinnati Bengals.
We just crossed the hour threshold.
Oh, that's not too bad.
That's not
All
too
right,
bad.
Christian, give us some moves for each team.
We pick everybody? We done all the games?
That's it. That's
Yep,
6
that's
of
it.
them.
All right,
I'll
let's
get
go.
Michael and
Let's
Dylan.
knock them out. What you thinking? What do the pups need to do? What's our move? Tell me.
No, save the champ, the 2019
You want-
GFFL
we'll do
champions
it.
for the last.
We'll do it.
Okay.
We'll do me last then.
All right.
We'll do it. I'll do it in reverse power, or I will do it in reverse power rankings order. So number 12 for me was Dylan, which Dylan's is pretty easy.
What's Dylan got to do?
Hold the fuck on.
Just
Dylan-
don't see you next
don't
year,
trade.
brother.
Dylan, if he chooses to, could trade Hopkins or Godwin to the Rays or the Labs for some picks.
Labs is not going to work out. That wouldn't make any sense for Matt's team. I don't disagree that Matt needs to make some moves, but I don't know.
I think if you put like a wide receiver 1, a Hopkins or a Godwin on Matt's team, he could compete as it stands right now.
No, he's done this year.
He couldn't compete this year, and then you're going to add a flex spot to it.
Okay.
I said,
All right,
I said this last week. For Matt to have a championship team, he has to hit on his draft picks and sell them. He has to not only hit and get a Kamara guy, but his team, the roster's adding another spot and move to PPR. He has to hit on draft picks and then sell them for elite asset. He's got to sell them. Matt will compete 2 years from now if that happens.
Yeah.
If he can do that, if he can hit on a guy that produces at or around the level of a Leonard Fournette this year, something that's like at the back end of the RB1, something like that, it's the first thing that popped in my head. If he could sell that guy for a bunch of pieces to a contender for 2020, i.e. Dylan or something like that, he could trade some pieces and get some pieces from that. And then Matt can stare 2021 in the face and say, all right, now we're ready to go with Kamara. Probably that would be Drew Brees' last season-ish, something like that.
If you want to take Matt out of the equation for Dylan, Dylan could trade Hopkins or Godwin to the Rays for picks, upside,
No,
if that's the route he wants to go. Because Dylan is building for next year and for the year after that. Wide receivers have longer shelf lives than running backs. I don't think he's going to want to trade Godwin. I think Godwin's his boy.
Yeah, I think he's married to Godwin, which is fine.
And
Whatever.
he loves Hopkins too. I mean, I think we all like Hopkins pretty good. But, I mean, if Dylan was to make a move, at this point, he's not going to trade picks for studs right now. I mean, his season is done. I thought maybe if he beat Big Mike.
What picks does T-Ray have? You might know.
He's just got his own.
Is that it?
Yeah, he's got his own pick.
T-Ray's in a
I don't
spooky
think
spot.
that Dylan does anything. I don't think he should do anything.
I don't think he
his
does
move
anything.
is to
I think
do
it's a
nothing.
move that it's the only move that he could make that would make sense for his team.
Sure, yeah. I think you keep Godwin, move Hopkins if that's what he wants to do. That's what I would do.
If that's what he was doing, then why
Trade away.
why
Yeah, you're right.
then why
He should've
trade
never
then why
traded.
trade why trade away Chris's to begin with? Other than their
Because he was
boys.
bored.
Yeah, that's true. Because it's Dylan and that's his boy.
Because he was bored. But
Well,
yeah,
I mean,
no,
Chris
I
came
don't-
to him and said, "I want my first round pick. What do I have to give you?"
Yeah,
and Dylan was
I
like,
mean-
your best player.
Yeah, Dylan's got the market cornered on first, so he can do what he wants right now.
Yeah.
sure.
That's the
And
thing.
I get it.
he's got
Okay,
Hopkins.
keep it
He's the
moving.
only
Keep it
one.
What
moving.
we think is
Okay,
pretty cheap.
who do I have for number 11?
There's your
Probably
power
Matt.
rankings
Yeah,
right there.
Matt.
Let's
Christian.
take a look at my power rankings. Okay, Matt, going back to Dylan, I think that Matt needs to trade Kamara for a stud wide receiver / as many picks as possible. If he's dead set on trying to compete this year or keep Kamara, he needs to take the 2 picks that he has and try to get as much as he can with them. He's the only one besides Dylan that can offer multiple picks, I think. Is there anybody else with 2? Especially 2 strong ones like Matt has. Matt has his own.
I don't think so.
And who does Matt? What pick does he have besides his own?
He's got his own, and he's got Michael Gibson's.
Yeah, he's got his own, and he's got Michael's. Which, depending on where Michael goes, Michael could be in the thick of it for a championship, or he could throw in the towel next week.
Because I don't think Michael can be throwing in the towel with Barkley on his team, and he's not going to trade Barkley, which is
Well, no, but he can not compete for a championship this year actively. I mean, when he trades Fournette for Mixon, that's throwing it in for this year. But with a win against you guys, he could change his mind.
that's true.
And
Matt could try and trade Michael's pick to Michael for, I don't know, like Mixon and somebody else.
That's
I would
something we
want-
haven't thought of.
I'd have to get more than a pick, more than one pick for Mixon. I mean, everybody's down on him. I know.
Does Michael have any picks?
Michael has.
That first round pick
Mike's
is worth
pick.
more than Mixon.
I know. Does Michael have any picks?
He
Mike's.
got Mike's, big Mike's.
No.
Okay,
Michael's
so
not going.
for,
Michael's
for
not
number
gonna
11 for Matt, and this is just what I would do. This is personally what I would do because running back shelf life is short, and you don't want to hold on to Kamara until you can compete, and then him not be worth what he is now. He is arguably, not arguably, he is probably the 3rd or 4th best running back, the 3rd or 4th best dynasty asset you can have right now. You don't want to let him waste away on your team. He's the kind of player you build around, but with what Matt has right now, I think he would be better off getting as much as he can for Kamara this year, youth, picks, whatever he can do to set himself up to compete.
You might
next
be
year.
right. You might be right as far as trading him, but I don't know if I would even trade him. I think he could wait until the draft, until after the draft, after the picks are made, see how everything shakes out, and then he could say, "All right, well, looks like I'm not going to compete this year. I might have to play for next year. Maybe I don't like Kamara long term or something." But no, I think Kamara's fine. I don't think he needs to do anything. But yeah, that's an option.
All right, number 10 for me was Tyler Burns, and I already went over that one. Pray this is your year. Trade a 2021 first for the best player you can get, and pray to God you can fluke that shit squad to a championship. He doesn't have anything that I think anybody's going to want to give picks for, and he's really stuck between a rock and a hard place, and I'm sure he would probably be happy with a playoff appearance with this team, but
I'd probably trade Philip Lindsay. I'd try to make like a package.
Yeah, he'd
with,
have
like,
to
Phillip
package
Lindsay
together
and
T.Y.
Eric Ingram, Evan Ingram.
He's got a
and
couple-
Anything else to get whatever I can fucking get.
he's got a couple mid-range talents that I think he could maybe package together, but with the market being set at what it is for picks, where we've got Hopkins going for a first and some upside.
See if you can get Antonio Brown. Just sell him for like
pray
a third.
Antonio Brown
maybe
comes
fourth.
back.
Yeah,
and
if
you can
Antonio
dump him
Brown
for
comes back,
something.
he could and comes to the Patriots and
Not
things.
after what he said. He's not going back to the New England.
All right.
Maybe.
What's next? Who's next?
Number 9, Big Mike. Let's see. Big Mike needs to fire sale everything on that team except for George Kittle. You can build around George Kittle with him being so young and being a tight end. Tight ends play for a while. So
I was thinking about this while I was in the restroom. Who is the best wide receiver under 25? Odell?
Under 25?
Got to be Odell, right?
Yeah, unless you want Tyreek Hill.
Odell, Tyreek, and then who's after that?
I don't know.
Godwin?
Just
Say
off the
Juju.
top of my head, to be honest.
I won't say
Godwin?
Juju.
Nah,
Would you rather have Godwin
I-
over Juju right now.
I would rather have Godwin over Juju right now, hands down. And I think Godwin is really due for some regression.
If Michael were here, he would go. Psh. I can see it now. I don't know. That's tough. Anyway, keep it moving. We'll go back to the topic.
Yeah, Panthers. I mean, I would fire sale everything they've got, whatever they can get for Cooks, whatever they can get for who's their second receiver. I don't really see anybody paying.
He's got A-Rob on his bench. He's got Alshon Jeffrey. He's got Brandon Cooks.
Allen Robinson is the GFFL favorite child for at least half the league, so he should be able to get something for Cooks, Allen Robinson.
I don't disagree with that, but the guys that love some A-Rob aren't playing ball this year. Well, and then again, I don't know. Michael's mind right now could be changing his mind.
Yeah, a lot of these moves are complicated by the fact that 4 people have all the picks, and
Dylan's done a good job.
Only one of them is really trying to compete.
Yeah,
I'm not really sure when Dylan started this whole process, but he did a great job of when did the whole trust the process start.
If you can,
I don't know.
I would love to know, Dylan, if you actually make it to this point, Dylan, if you would kindly put it in sleeper chat when the first move when you required
when did you have the first thought of just rounding up every 2020?
I would like to know when Dylan acquired his first 2020 pick other than his own, and then when he had that first thought, like, I have this pick and I have my own pick. I'm gonna do it.
All right, what's next?
All right, I've got Butt Pirates at 8. If I were Vogler, which thank God I'm not, because I just got fucking thumped by the classics like everybody knew I would.
Just fucking thumped.
Sell high on Hooper, and I would also
not buying that shitter.
I would also try to trade Henry. I would hold on to Cooper. I mean, you're going to anyway because he's a Cowboy, but I'd be trying to get rid of Hooper and Henry. You don't have any draft assets besides like shitty seconds and thirds, which, I mean, you're throwing darts.
Yeah. I heard he tried to package.
Well, he's still trying to move Ridley, which is interesting. If you don't like him, move him. But
yeah.
I actually don't mind Ridley.
Yeah, I mean,
I just don't want to pay.
That's not. Yeah, that's not a green light to offer us a trade for Calvin Ridley. We don't want him
for what his team needs to be doing. Ridley needs to be somebody that he builds around.
I don't need another.
He needs to understand that nobody's going to pay wide receiver 1 money for Calvin Ridley.
I think you could get a late first for Calvin Ridley. I think that's what he's
would
worth.
not pay a late first for Calvin Ridley.
I would pay a late first for Calvin Ridley in a league where one person didn't have 6 of the 12 firsts. In any other league,
that's fair.
If I had
right now,
Ridley, you're right.
Right now, if you had a bottom 3, if you had a bottom 3 pick, you would trade it for Calvin Ridley right now.
A bottom 3?
A bottom 3 in the first round
10
pick.
through 12.
Yes. That's who T-Ray should be targeting. He should take his own pick, and he should look
Calvin Ridley
at
sucks.
Calvin Ridley.
Calvin Ridley sucks.
The dude scores a touchdown every other game. He's
Oh,
got
they've
12
played
points,
it.
16 points. And then he put
I don't
up
know.
2
Maybe
stinkers,
I'm
then
just
a
out. I
14
just
and a
don't.
10.
I don't know what's going to happen in Atlanta. I don't like it.
All right. Number 7, I've got Miles. Miles has a lot of solid names, like upper high-end names. If I were Miles, I would be trying to upgrade some of those guys. I'll try to consolidate them into an elite guy. And he's got way too many Chargers.
He does. He had
way too many Chargers.
He's a big Chargers dude, right? I'm pretty sure he's a Chargers fan.
Yeah, we just got off the Cowboys team, and now we're on the Chargers, and mine's kind of Patriots. So, I mean, I shouldn't really say much, but, I mean, Patriots
they're Bengals.
Yeah, I got some
y'all big. You got a big bad team.
Yeah,
Phillip Rivers stinks. Miles needs to go get a quarterback that's worth of shit. I don't even know who's available right now.
Go to Miles' team.
Going.
I'll get a little bit more into detail on this one because I looked at this one at work today, and I think of the moves that can be made, Miles can make the most of them. I'm pretty sure he's going to keep Keenan Allen, which I wouldn't trade Keenan Allen anyway off that team. I'd hold Hunter Henry unless somebody just offered you something crazy for him. I mean, the guy gets hurt all the time, but when he plays, he's really good. You could probably put together a Kerryon Johnson, an Adam Thielen, maybe somebody likes Le'Veon Bell. I think you could turn that into an elite wide receiver or running back if you wanted
but that
to.
puts him with no depth. And
Look at his bench. He's got decent stuff on. He's got Melvin Gordon on the bench.
Yeah,
He's got
that's
Cam. I mean, Cam's not really.
Jared, would you trade Leonard? Would you trade Leonard Fournette for Adam Thielen and Kerryon Johnson and another piece right now?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say I wouldn't even need a third piece. I mean, Kerryon puts up ugly.
Not very good.
Yeah, but he's putting up points.
Yeah, but
I mean, if
how long can that
last?
last?
Let him plot it in from the 3 times in a row. I
don't.
I think he's going to get some room to run.
I think
their
he
line
should
gets
just
better.
I think he should just target a quarterback. I think his quarterback fucking stinks, and he should look. If Chris is not competing this year, he should go try and get Russell Wilson, or he should go to Tyler Burns and try and get Matt Ryan from him because he's still going to put up decent points.
Yeah, I'd agree.
The rest of the if Michael Gibson's tanking, he could go after Kyler Murray.
Nah, that's not.
Yeah, I don't
happen.
think Michael's going to come off Kyler.
You don't want to pay what Michael's going to ask for Kyler, which is fine.
But if he needs to compete this year because his team is only getting older.
I agree.
Le'Veon
I do
Bell's
agree with
only
that.
getting older. Mark Ingram's only getting older. Adam Thielen's almost 30.
Le'Veon Bell at this point is more of a volume play than anything. I don't think he has much burst. I don't think he's a great runner. He's a good receiver on a bad team, and he is. What's his snap count look like this year? Because I feel like he might not be the bell cow that he's been in years past.
It's basically 90 plus. So yeah,
I mean,
he's a bell cow.
It's hard to watch a Jets game. I know they like to
just
get cute
he's
with running
averaging
backs.
like 3 yards per carry. But then again, he was playing with Luke Falk or whatever the fuck his name was.
Miles has a lot of names on that team that he could try to consolidate into one big name and still. I mean, I'd have to keep Melvin Gordon. You can't trade Melvin Gordon at this point because Melvin Gordon's value is just so low.
Yeah,
he's looked
I
really
agree.
shitty.
You keep Melvin Gordon.
Yeah, you got to ride that storm out.
All right, who's next?
All right, number 6. Fuck is Gaston? Let's see, Gators.
I don't know if the Gators are competing or not. I mean,
I don't think the Gators know if they're
I
competing
have a
or not.
similar note. Let's see. Gators, decide if you're winning this year or not.
Yeah.
Sell the first if you are. Sell Diggs if you're not. Diggs just had a 30-some point game after a shitty start to the year. I know.
if there's a time to sell him, I know
he's
it might
young.
be
Yeah.
now.
I've said this before, and I don't know if Michael will tell you this to his face, but Michael will win and lose with the guys he likes.
No,
He does not. He will not trade it. He will ride Stephon Diggs until he is useless, just like he did Christine Michael. He believes in the guy. He calls him the purple Antonio Brown. That's fine. Michael's going to take his guys, and he loves him some Joe Mixon. That's fine.
Stephon Diggs is a very talented player.
That's the way Michael wants to. Michael wants to play ball that way. So Michael will not trade Stephon Diggs.
If there's moves
looking
for
at the
him
future.
to make, and he wants to win this year, he's got a high first that he can use.
Absolutely. If he's got to get rid of Mixon if he wants to win this year. He's got that first. He needs a tight end. He just traded away his tight end.
Does he need a wide receiver
has
too?
to go after a
Who's
tight
Michael's? He has JG, but that's his flash. But that doesn't do it. That doesn't do a whole lot for me.
I don't see a way that he acquires the pieces that.
Michael's going to ride this one out with his boys. He's got a young team. He's got Diggs and Barkley and Kyler. He's going to ride this one out, take his pick, and hopefully he hits a home run with it. And that's what I think he's going to do.
Yep.
All right,
so
keep it moving.
Number 5, we got the Cubs. He needs to trade that first and some of his depth for a stud wide receiver and go all in this year. Don't get caught in the middle. Do something. Right now,
Why you got to tell him that?
he's in the middle. I mean, he knows it. Everybody,
I'm not sure he does.
Anybody looks at that team, they know it. He can come off of that first. He can come off of some of the depth that he's got. He needs to get an elite wide receiver too.
He should have sold Aaron Jones last week.
Yeah, Aaron Jones is Taylor Ray's boy, I guess.
Yeah.
Just like Stephon Diggs is Michael Gibson's boy, and just like AJ Green is my boy, just like Christian McCaffrey is your boy.
Cooper
Kupp
Kupp,
is your
brother.
boy.
Yeah.
I mean, he's gonna ride that roller coaster till he gets Final Destination off of it.
But yeah, you could definitely take James Conner and package him with Aaron Jones to
T-Ray
get
has
somebody
taken
better.
Shout out to T-Ray for taking a bottom 3 team unanimously with the best quarterback in the league, and then other than that, just Nick Chubb and nothing.
Wow. To be fair, that trade last week was that was generous, I think.
Yeah,
we also handed him Tyreek Hill, which was just
So he got 2. I mean,
You guys got Scary Terry.
Yeah,
If you guys would have
that's
told
true.
me you're
Scary
trading
Terry's pretty
Tyreek,
good.
you guys could have got Tyler Boyd from me.
fart. No, I'd rather. Would you rather have Scary Terry or Tyler Boyd?
it's not even fucking
Scary
close.
Terry.
The man is putting up stupid numbers with on a terrible offense.
In
Case
Tyler
Keenum,
Boyd's
brother.
defense, if AJ Green leaves that
Shut
team,
up. There's no defense for that
Yeah.
shit.
No,
AJ
if
Green leaves that
their
team-
offensive line was better, then
they
he'd
would be
a lot
better.
better.
Tyler Boyd is good at football, and he is going to be a lot better next year. in
That
PPR,
whole
so we're just gonna
offense
ride it
is
out.
terrible because of that offensive line. If they had a decent offensive line, they'd be a decent team. But their offensive line is bottom 3 in the NFL.
bad.
It causes Mixon to not be able to run anywhere, which
Dalton looks
causes
awful.
their fucking
Dalton
passing
can't
game to
carry a
suffer.
team, and he
Nobody can carry that team. Nobody. Tom Brady
I agree.
couldn't carry that team.
no, I don't know about that now.
So yeah,
Next.
he needs to take that pick that he's got and package it maybe with some future, like that future 2021 first, and whatever else he can do, and get a fucking wide receiver too.
Yeah, he's got the ammunition to
He could
get
absolutely
a receiver.
go get an elite receiver.
Also, we're not going to air this until Monday, so you can't do it against me. But
Hmm.
go get a wide receiver with that pick, and accept the fact that Aaron Jones is never going to be anything more than a 50% snap running back.
And he's probably about to finna lose that one in the offseason, but that's neither here nor there.
All right,
Keep it
so
moving.
All right, next.
Number 4, Synergy. Where did I put Synergy? Okay. You've got OBJ and Juju, both young talent. Not many people in the league would turn them down. Sell OBJ and Juju for King's ransoms and gun it out this year.
Could do that. It's an option.
It's way
CT
too
Murphy,
soon.
is he? Well, see, my only problem with that, I'm going to cut you off short, is that Johnny's in his division, dude. Johnny has that division by nuts.
You've
That doesn't
got
matter. He
there's a
can sneak
clusterfuck
into the
around
last
the two
place.
wild
It doesn't
cards.
Well, as soon as Johnny loses this week, he's going to be 5-2. Chris could win this week and be 3-4, and
I mean, you look at
Open
that
for
team
business.
and it's good. It's still good. I mean,
Yeah, you could get absolute King's ransoms for
Yeah,
Odell
he-
Beckham Jr. and Juju Smith-Schuster.
he could make that team whatever he wanted to.
this
with
is
just those
this is
two
what I
guys.
think Chris should do. See you next year, buddy. That's what I think. I don't think he should do anything. I think this is what he's going to do. I think he's going to ride it out. He's going to take the best player he possibly can to fit his team. He's going to take
that
he's
Odell
gonna-
gets in a better
he's gonna take
situation. Juju
Chris-
gets in a better situation.
Juju, Odell, they get back on track, and he has Chris Carson with a really good
Miles
first-round
Sanders
pick.
should have that job next year.
And then he's got Russell Wilson just right in the thick of his prime, just slinging it to Tyler Lockett, and he's going to roll out the same roster we thought was going to be just stupid good
which we
the
don't
beginning
even
of this
know if
year.
Miles Sanders is that good yet.
No,
But-
we don't.
I mean, so
He can catch the ball. He
Marlon
can
Mack
catch
is
the
a lot
football.
better than.
I mean,
he
he's.
gets credit
I
for
think.
being.
I mean,
Absolutely.
I don't
So is
think.
Chris
I don't
Carson.
think Chris makes any moves. I think
Yeah,
Chris.
he could stick it out, but if he wanted to compete,
Chris
this
has
year,
Chris
he's
has
definitely
two.
got options.
Agreed,
If-
but I don't think his players are in a position to compete. So I think that he has too many good pieces to sell them all to run it down for his pick to be really good. So I think he's got his pick now. He got rid of Hop. He's got really good talent. He's got really good running backs. He's got one of the best quarterbacks in fantasy football. So just screw it. We'll see you. We'll see you in 2020,
Take that
Chris.
first round pick and
Yeah.
package it with something and get George Kittle
Step one.
as a tight end.
Step 1, trade that pick.
Yeah.
Step 2, trade Odell Beckham Jr. Step 3, trade Juju. Step 4, profit.
Yeah.
If
good.
I had his team, and this is competitive advice, whatever you want to call it, if I had his team right now, there is no fucking way I would throw in the towel
Oh hell no!
at 2 and 4.
I wouldn't have traded D Hop. I would have.
No,
I would have traded
that-
either Odell or Juju, but way before I traded.
I
D-Hop.
feel like he made that trade and then didn't like that trade and just got really down on his team and was like, "Fuck it, we're done this year." But no, that's easy.
I don't know.
I think he gave away fucking D Hop because of how good his team is and because he's not tanking. That his pick that he just traded for.
It's not going to
It's
be as
not
good,
that
nearly
good.
as
You're
good
not-
as what D-Hop's going to be.
No, absolutely
Yeah,
not.
I'm
Even if
afraid.
his
We'll see.
pick- even if his pick finishes,
His pick is
one-
bottom 6.
Even if his pick was 1.01 next year, along with the bits and pieces that he got from Dylan along the way,
I don't even remember what the trade was.
nobody
Let me see.
would ever see me pick a rookie at 1.01 over DeAndre Hopkins.
All right, he
doesn't
traded
matter.
DeAndre Hopkins, O.J. Howard, Ito Smith, and a 2022 third.
That's a tough
for
conversation. to
Will
have,
Fuller, Marquise
Depth,
Brown, A.J.
depth.
Brown, 2020 first, and a 2027.
but- Dude,
He
he
got a
got a
couple good
he
young-
got a freaking haul, man.
He
I
got a couple good young receivers.
I get
and-
what you're saying, but I mean, if you're talking about just straight up, but he got a lot of depth going into next year. I think it's just see you next year, Chris, and that's fine. I think that we're looking at this roster. If he gets a good, solid running back that lands somewhere, like we're talking about, we were laughing at what if one of these running backs lands in Kansas City. Dylan's probably going to scoop him up in the first 2 anyway, but I think Chris is just going to see in 2020, and he's going to have one of the best rosters in the league, right behind the Wolf Cups.
All right, number 3, classics. Let's see. I can send out a bunch of trades for Tyler Boyd and hope somebody accidentally misclicks and says accept, and then I'll argue it to the death. No. Classics, I'm going to pray that the Bengals trade A.J. Green to anyone that is not the Buffalo Bills, which that would be very rough. I feel like that would make Boyd a much more valuable asset going forward.
Oakland should go after A.J. Green.
Oh, don't say that.
He'd be good on Oakland.
With
Oakland's
us,
not a bad team.
with us going,
They're a meme team, but they're not a bad team.
with us moving to PPR next year, Boyd's going to get some value. He's a volume receiver. I mean, he's not really a burner or anything. He'll catch like a 40-yard touchdown every now and then, but he'll put the Ravens out of the playoffs with a long touchdown too. That's really our best bet right now because I'm not trying to trade Zeke down right now. I'm not trying to trade Gurley because I don't think I'll get what I think he's worth. Feel like if I sold Kelsey right now, it'd be too low just because he hasn't had a Kelsey game yet.
Yeah,
Apparently Mike Evans sucks now. I mean, I don't know. If you put a guy on the classics and he just magically sucks all of a sudden.
you hold on to Evans, you hold on to Gurley, and just hope things look up. You hold on to Kelsey. The problem is that you don't have any depth and you don't have any picks, so you don't have a whole lot of options. The only option you have is to trade Zeke.
I could trade down
for
Zeke.
anything anything you could get for him.
I could trade down Zeke and not consolidate. I could trade down my team, build a little bit of depth. But the thing about my team that I like is there are guys on my team that I know nobody else is gonna like. Like, I'll roster James White and be happy about it.
Well,
Especially when we move to PPR
In
next year.
PPR, it's so different. Like his player rank and standard
He's
is 40, and he's 24
in
in
PPR. I
PPR.
was looking earlier today,
Yeah.
and
He's a wide receiver too in PPR.
James White is not a sexy name, and I've put him out there before. And ever since the Super Bowl when he
was never going to be one in a standard league.
James White is
Different ball game in PPR.
James White is a very unsexy flex option that I will ride into the ground before I just give him away. I don't expect anybody to ever want to trade for him, but for what it's worth, I mean, the guy was RB11 last year.
Yeah. I mean,
So
That was his absolute
nobody's gonna
ceiling.
Give me that for him, but
Yeah.
But I think you're
Absolutely.
but you're going to get a top 28, 30 running back somewhere in there. As long as Tom Brady's leading the offense and Bill Belichick doesn't have a heart attack and die, then he's going to be fine. I mean he's going to be in top 25 or 30.
yeah, next
For
year,
sure.
Next year it's just going to be better.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the guy that Tom Brady trusts. You saw it last week. They robbed him of a touchdown. I should have beat Vogler worse, but
So what should the Wolf Pups do?
all right. I have y'all at number 2.
I think so.
That's fine.
think
I'm
you
not
got
sure.
All right,
I think you
stop
got
me
the nuts and
if you've heard this before. Wolf Cups need to consolidate some of that depth into a stud.
We tried it.
You guys have the pieces. if you just do the legwork and stay on it.
God, we've tried. I'm just exhausted. I'm tired of talking to you guys.
You got to just keep trying.
You want to trade? Do you want to trade Zeke for some depth?
One of the big problems is
fire me something over.
Is that we're crazy high on our guys, even our our Scary Terrys, our Cortland Suttons, our DJ Charks, and we have their value higher than probably what the perceived value is at the moment because we believe in what they will be. More so than what they even are at the moment, even though they're all playing very well at the moment.
This is a very hard league to trade in because almost everyone in the league has their own opinions about their own guys. And, whether you think you're right.
I mean, I don't think anybody in the league owns a guy that they don't like. You know what I mean? Like, everybody, like, the only time that you, like,
we've
nobody.
We've got a couple guys that I'm not in love with that I would trade. But
well, sure. I mean, I'm saying
try and trade. That's what happens though. If you don't love a guy,
he's on the block.
Yeah.
Christian in the class. Carry-On Johnson was on the block for 4 weeks.
Hey, I like Carry-On Johnson.
Joe Mixon on the block. Mike Evans on the block.
Yeah. So I mean,
if I have to move a stud, I would rather move Evans and get maybe turn Evans into 2 players.
Yeah.
But
sure.
Mike Evans is a 25, 26-year-old AJ Green. He goes for 1,000 every year. I mean, I
don't hate your value of Mike Evans at all.
I'm
just saying, we're not in a position where we're not losing games, so it's not like, shit, we got to do something. We made a good deal for our team with Joe Mixon to Michael, who was on track to do what he thought was best for his team. So we got Fournette, a guy that we're playing for this year. So that is what we thought was best for us. And so I don't.
Yeah, I mean, we don't.
I'm not in any hurry to trade Scary Terry and Cortland Sutton and another guy for a stud, and I don't think the league's in any hurry to send us a stud for those guys. So it's just kind of like
exactly
here we are.
If they want to send us a stud for them, we'd be happy to send them.
But they're not going.
Yeah, but I mean, we have a strong running back core of Christian McCaffrey, Leonard Fournette, Josh Jacobs. That's your 2 running backs in your flex. That's insanely strong in a standard league. The only thing we have a good tight end in Mark Andrews, who is number 2 tight end right now, and our weakness is that we've got Deshaun Watson, who's top 3 quarterback. Our weakness is at wide receiver, where Kupp is a top 5 guy. Obviously had a stinker week last week, and then Galladay is a top 15 guy who has looked really good this year outside of one game.
Yeah, we don't have.
The only thing we would want to upgrade is take maybe 1 or 2 of those receivers. Okay, obviously more than 1. We'd have to take 2 of those receivers and maybe another piece and move it for a better wide receiver.
Yeah, I don't see the market being the way it is. I just don't see it happening. So we're just going to kind of roll it out. Maybe at the trade deadline we can.
We hope that David Montgomery plays a little better, comes into his own, and we can maybe package him with somebody else and move for a stud wide receiver.
All right, number 1, the nutrients. He could really do whatever he wants with his team if he felt like it. If it were me, I'd be trying to trade some sort of Julio, DJ. I wouldn't say package, but you could take 1 or 2 of those guys and put them with somebody off your bench, second, whatever you've got. I would just try to lower the average age of his team a little bit because his team is very strong. His team is pretty young.
He was trying to earlier. He was trying to move DJ to us, and we just couldn't come to an. Or I couldn't come to an agreement. So
we've
I
talked
didn't even
about
pitch it to
DJ,
which is fine. I mean, I think Johnny should value DJ however he wants to, and I think he's fine. His value that he had him at is fine. But I mean, we don't have a reason to make our average age any older, I guess, and he doesn't have a reason to come off DJ's value when he's in the thralls of trying to win it all this year. So
one thing
which is another reason why the league is stagnant right now, because there's so many people. I mean, it's even more disparity than it was. Like, I mean, there's guys that are just see you next year, and there's guys that are.
I think that he could take Julio and maybe package him with a second piece, ship him to Big Mike for George Kittle. And maybe
that's exactly what I was thinking. I was thinking trying to get George Kittle or Austin Hooper.
I don't see. I mean, there's nothing that he could get from Vogler. Like, Vogler's going to want too much for Hooper, and he doesn't have enough to give back with Hooper. to unless he wanted to do DJ and maybe a piece for Hooper and Henry. But I guess it would just depend on how much Johnny likes Henry and how hard Vogler overvalues both of them, because I mean, it's Vogler, so he's going to overvalue them.
True.
I mean, Johnny, he could get Kittle from Mike. I think he'd have to pay more than Kittle is worth. I don't think Mike should be looking to move Kittle, just based off how hard it is to get an elite tight end and how young George Kittle is. But I could see him shipping something to Mike for Kittle and maybe like a Brandon Cooks. And, I mean, he's still got Michael Thomas, Devontae Adams. You know, he takes the hit at receiver losing Julio, but Julio's 31.
Yeah, I don't
The question is, why would Mike want Julio?
Exactly.
I don't think anybody
I
wants to trade for Julio unless they are competing this year.
And then that market is
Like,
3
we don't
teams,
want any
14.
part
Yeah,
of
the
Julio.
only way Mike would do it is if he thought he could maybe get more for Julio from somebody else.
Yeah, but you're
I'm just glad the Falcons
money.
paid him, because
Me
now
too.
they can fucking suck for a few more years.
yeah. All right, I think that's it.
Yeah.
Is that it? All right, I'm gonna split these two up so because we don't have an hour and 45-minute podcast.
Yeah, I'm on the verge of pissing my pants.
So
Let's do it.
enjoyed it.
Later, bitches.
Later, bitches.
Fuck
Good
the
luck.
butt
Good
Pirates. Fuck them in the butt.
good luck in week 7, shitters. Peace.